Number 10. Alton Coleman and Deborah Brown. Alton Coleman and Deborah Brown were a violent and mentally ill pair who killed each other. Coleman had been arrested for rape before and served his sentence. When he met Deborah, they began killing people all over the state. In 1984, they raped and killed 8 people in a short amount of time. The first terrible thing Alton and Deborah did was kill a 9-year-old girl in Wisconsin. Their crimes continued across the country while they were on the run. Along the way, they raped and abused children and stole, robbed, and killed everyone. In 2002, Alton Coleman was put to death, and Deborah Brown was sentenced to 140 years in jail. If she had worked alone, she would have been one of the most well-known serial killers of the 20th century. Number 9. Inessa Tarverdieva and Roman Podkopy. Inessa Tarverdieva and Roman Podkopy seemed like a normal couple living with their 2 daughters at first glance. She used to be a teacher, and he was a dentist. They lived a normal life in Stavropol, Russia. Though the truth was not like that at all since 2007. The family has been robbing and killing people for 6 years. They even lied about going on a family vacation while they killed and robbed innocent people. Their children were involved. They were caught breaking into the home of a police officer in 2013. In the gunfire during the arrest, Podkopy was killed. Number 8. Carol Ann Fugate and Charles Starkweather. Charles Starkweather and Carol Ann Fugate were terrorists who killed a lot of people over the course of 2 months in the late 1950s. Carlyle was only 14 years old and Charles was 19 years old. Charles was trying to rob the gas station when he killed the first person. After that, he went to Fugante's house and killed her parents and little sister with them. After a while, they started to run away and kill people at random. After they were caught, Carol said she was the hostage. In the end, Charles admitted to his crimes and blamed Carol for other killings. At age 20, he was found guilty and put to death. Carol got out of jail after 18 years in parole. Number 7. Carla Homolka and Paul Kenneth Bernardo. Carla Leanne Homolka and Paul Kenneth Bernardo killed and raped someone for the first time when they were engaged at the start of the 1990s. Carla's young sister was the first person the Canadian couple raped. Carla helped Paul do it by giving her drugs and holding her down. So, this crime was pathetic in a lot of ways, and the fact that it was all recorded on video makes it even worse. They were caught after killing 3 people. Paul was given a life sentence, and Carla lied about Paul to get a lighter sentence. After 12 years in jail, she was let out. Number 6. Ray and Faye Copeland. Ray and Faye Copeland, an old married couple, killed at least 5 drifters and hitchhikers on their Missouri farm in the 1980s. Ray had been in jail for a few years for his crimes, so people knew him as a con artist and thief from a young age. He came up with a plan to hire the travelers to buy cattle with fake checks, then sell the cattle for cash and kill the travelers to hide his scam. During this time, they hired the worker who thought something was wrong. The man was able to get away and call the police after Ray tried to kill him. Ray and Faye Copeland were the oldest couple in the United States to be given the death sentence after they were caught. Let's hang for a while. What do you think makes a killer couple? Do you think it's possible for 2 people to love each other and still be capable of committing murder? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more dark and disturbing videos. Number 5. Ian Brady and Myra Hindley. 5 kids from 10 to 17 years old were tortured, raped, and killed by Ian Brady and Myra Hindley. They were a twisty and sick couple. The killers in England from 1963 to 1965 were also known as the Moors Murderers because they buried their victims in Saddleworth Moor. The creep Ian Brady met Myra Hindley at the workplace where they both worked. They started making plans for a perfect marriage soon after they started dating. They began their killing spree by getting the young woman Pauline Reed. They raped Pauline and killed her. They also tricked all of their victims by saying they needed help and would give them a ride. They were caught when the person who saw them kill the last person called the cops. Number 4. Raymond Fernandez and Martha Beck. Ray Fernandez and Martha Beck are accused of killing more than 20 women. They are also known as Lonely Hearts Killers. In the late 1940s, they used Lonely Hearts ads to find people to scam. Martha loved Raymond so much that she left her kids to be with him and helped him rip off lonely women. They showed up as a sister and a brother to get the victims to trust them, then robbed and killed them. Also, when they were caught, they admitted to killing women to get a shorter sentence. But they were sent to New York to stand trial, and both were given the death sentence. They were put to death in 1951. Number 3. Gerald and Charlene Gallego. Gerald and Charlene Gallego, a twisting couple, were bored with their relationship, so they chose to use sex slaves. Since the end of the 1970s, they have mostly been taking young girls hostage in Sacramento. The two worked together so that Charlene pushed the victims into the van, while Gerald lifted them up and tortured them with a gun. After raping and torturing the women, they would take them to a remote area and kill them there. Charlene took a plea deal after they were arrested in exchange for speaking against Gerald. She said she was also a victim. Gerald died in jail while waiting to be put to death, but she only lived 16 years there. Number 2. Fred and Rosemary West. Fred and Rosemary West were married and had 8 children together, plus 1 stepchild from Fred's first marriage. They committed their crimes in Gloucester, England, from the mid-1960s for the next 2 decades. Fred watched Rosemary work as a prostitute through the peephole while she did her job. They beat, raped, killed, and buried women in the backyard or basement as their victims. Fred mistreated the girls, and Rosemary killed Fred's granddaughter. Police found the bodies of 12 people buried at Fred's house after he was caught. In the meantime, he killed himself. Rosemary, on the other hand, will spend the rest of her life in jail. Number 1. Carol M. Bundy and Doug Clark. Carol M. Bundy and Doug Clark killed people to satisfy their sick sexual needs. They are also known as the Sunset Strip Killers. Doug Clark raped and abused children. Later, he killed people and raped dead bodies. Because she was equally ill and twisted as he was, he knew she was the one he needed in his life. In the 1980s, they killed prostitutes in Los Angeles together. Some of the victims were killed so badly that their heads were cut off. After they were caught, Bundy tried to explain herself by saying that Clark was to blame for everything. She did take part, though, and was found guilty, so she died to jail. Clark, on the other hand, said that Bundy was using him, but because there was a lot of proof against him, he was given the death sentence. Well, there you have it, the top 10 deadliest killer couples ever. These couples were responsible for some of the most horrific crimes in history, and their stories continue to fascinate and horrify us today. But before you go, be sure to subscribe to our channel for more dark and disturbing videos. We cover everything from serial killers to haunted houses to unsolved mysteries. And if you have any requests for future videos, let us know in the comments below. We're always looking for new and interesting topics to cover.